Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Champions Podcast with myself, Heather,
Champ Squires.
and today we have a guest with us, and she is somebody that I actually met on social media, and she is Tracy Thiel, and we are so happy to have her with us today. And she is actually a heart transplant patient, and so we're going to let her just tell her story and just take inspiration from. I've obviously know the heart and lung and kidney side, but we're going to let her share what it's like to have a heart transplant. So welcome, Tracy, and we're so glad to have you with us.
Hi, Heather. It's nice to see you and nice to meet you, Champ. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very glad that I get to finally open up and talk about my journey and spread awareness about two sides of the transplant journey. So, I'd like to start off by saying, there's the transplant journey, and then there's spreading awareness about how important it is to donate life so other people can continue on. And I don't think enough people share that information. So that's part of the reason why I'm here today. But I'd like to start off by saying I've been going through this journey for 41 years. I was born with a rare condition called tetralogy of flow and fetal alcohol syndrome. They're both um, fairly rare conditions. They are a lot. I've had multiple heart surgeries my entire life to correct these, and over time, the surgeries actually made everything worse. Instead of making it better, they create a lot of tissue buildup in the chest. So over time, I would get irregular heartbeats, PVCs, arrhythmia, and eventually went into VTech over time after so many surgeries. After I would say in my late 20s, I started getting pretty sick. And I had to get an ICD placed in my chest, which is called an internal cardio defibrillator. That saved my life for about 10 years. And I liked it. It made me feel very safe. So I encourage if you need an ICD, don't be afraid of it. It'll be your best friend. And then after a couple years of having the ICD in place, I started going downhill a little bit. My heart just didn't know how to function anymore, and I had congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure can mimic a lot of different things. So I'm sorry, I was diagnosed with lots of wrong diagnosis. I was diagnosed with pneumonia, bronchitis, flu, everything for years. I was put on all kinds of medicines that weren't correct until one day when I finally was so big and full of water, I went to a hospital because I couldn't walk anymore. And they're like, yeah, you don't have pneumonia or bronchitis. You never did. What we're seeing on these x-rays, and they finally did a cardiac CT scan, they're like, you have end stage heart failure. And it looks like you've had it for a very long time. And that's where my journey began with congestive heart failure in 2020. Um, so I started off with one hospital. They did all their tests, and I was referred to another hospital where I continued my journey for 2 years, on and off. And eventually, because of everything that was going on between 2020 and 2022, they no longer wanted to continue the journey. And I was told that I had no other options, and that was it. End of the line. I got a second opinion because I wasn't going to end there. That's not the way I wanted life to be. I wanted to keep going. I had too many things I still had to do in life. So
Heather.
if a doctor,
Oh,
hey,
okay. Sorry.
what's up? Did you have any questions?
No, no. I was having. Heather, are you having Wi-Fi issues?
No, I'm good.
Okay, mine was cutting in and out. Might be me. Go ahead. You're good. Sorry.
Oh no, no, you're okay. Okay. Um, so yeah, I had to get a second opinion, and they were amazing. I mean, they're out of state. It made it a little bit more difficult, but they did everything they were supposed to do in the best timely fashion. And they did it in a really good time frame because I was getting really sick. I had already been in heart failure for years. Um, so I did what I had to do with my life because I was told otherwise by another hospital because they told me I was going to basically not be here anymore within a few months. So they told me to live my best life and travel. So I did what I was told to do. I went on a little vacation, and then while I planned this, another hospital called me and they're like, "Listen, let's get you on the list. Let's do all the tests. Let's see what if we can help you." And they did. So I continued my journey with them, and I was only on the list for like 3 days. And when I got the phone call, I was actually already in the hospital. I had passed out because my blood pressure could no more be stabilized. It just kept bottoming me out, and I kept passing out. And I had the last bit of energy in me to answer the phone to get that phone call that day. And that's where the whole heart transplant journey began. It was May 19th, 2022. Whew. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah,
I can,
so obviously, like I said, I know the lung and kidney side of things, but and I think some people, when they think about organ donation, is so overwhelming. But considering it's a heart transplant, what were your emotions when you first, like, I guess, accepted the idea, okay, the only way I'm going to live is if I do a transplant? What were your emotions going into that? Like, when you knew that you had to do this, like it wasn't an option if you wanted to live?
oh, I remember it was a lot of heavy emotions, crying, scared, shaking, like the of the unknown. Like I either do it and give it a chance or I'm not here anymore within a few months, right? Basically. And I remember doing the workup in the hospital at my second opinion, and I was in this little room. And this is where you meet everybody. You meet social workers, you meet the doctors, you meet the team, you meet the pharmacists, you meet so many people in this little room, and you get hot and you get so nervous. And they're throwing everything at you all at once. And you just feel this overwhelming power of anxiety. But in the end, you know it's the right thing to do because you want to keep going to be with your family and to continue doing what you're supposed to do here.
And so, what was the recovery? Because I know what it's like, obviously, for the other in the recovery, and it's so extensive. Like, people don't think that you just wake up and you start walking and you just life is grand. It takes a lot of work and recovery. What was the heart recovery like? Like, once you got up, and how did it feel when you first woke up and started walking? Like, obviously, the new heart kicked in and was doing its thing, but how was that for you waking up?
It was rough. Uh, I didn't have the best time waking up. I had what they call ICU delirium, really bad.
Mhm.
So they had to put like these big mitts on me because I was swinging at people. And when I finally actually got up and was able to sit up in bed, I saw the mitts. I thought I dreamed it all. I definitely didn't dream it. So it was scary though because trying to take that first breath, and I was also on life support and dialysis. So I had this machine breathing for me. It was terrifying. But all you can do is push through it because you know eventually you're going to be off those machines. But the most important thing is to get the courage to move your legs, move your body. Because if you don't move and you stiffen up, the recovery time is even worse. Every day you stay in bed, it's like 6 days for every day. And I was in bed for like a month because I had a rough time waking up and I had to be incubated or they had to go through my throat because I couldn't breathe on my own very good. And then I was on dialysis. So my recovery time was just to wake up was like weeks. Uh, it's, I remember it. They, well, I don't remember a lot of it, but my boyfriend would tell me in description about how he had to go home for a week. They told him to relax, get some rest because he won't get no sleep if he stays here in the hospital. So the best thing to do is family should just always go home, relax, try to just get some sleep because you won't get sleep in the hospital. We all know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and especially in the ICU, there's just so many people that it's a lot on caregivers. I mean, people don't understand that it is a lot on caregivers, and it's
They are
just
giving you their life to survive. They're
mm,
taking days off of work. They're putting their career on the line.
yeah. Champ, do you have a question for us since I'm asking all the questions over here?
So, so I'm just kind of taking all of it in because so what did it mean for you, Tracy, to watch people do that for you? We're talking about the heart, but again, I think Heather hit my nerve when she said about the caregiver. What did it mean for you to watch those people do that, to put their life on the line, to put themselves in, to deny, basically, again, denying yourself? And how do you, not saying that you like have to do that exact same thing for them, but what did it look like for you to give back to them, or to be grateful, but to also exemplify that gratefulness to those folks? What does that look like for you?
Uh, uh, the amount of gratitude I have for the people that are in my life that help
Mm,
me, there's no way to ever repay them. Like the things that they had to do. I mean, my boyfriend at one point had to take over like as being part of a nurse to help staff because they were so short-handed by doing things that like I would normally be embarrassed to ask to do, but he had to because during 2022 there was a shortage of staff. And I remember thinking, you know what, this is just going to bring us closer. We'll be laughing about this. We're going to be making memories. And now to this day, 3 years later, we have to laugh about it because it brought us closer, and it's something that I can't explain it. It's like it brought us closer relationship wise, if that makes sense.
mhm,
Yeah,
And
because
my other character, oh,
yeah, I was just gonna
um,
say like it obviously brought you closer together because you saw the nitty gritty stuff and you still chose to love each other. I mean, just put it real. The transplant recovery is not, you know, shiny rainbows. It's some really ugly days.
yes. And I had another caregiver, because I needed two. She was actually my cousin. She came out of nowhere on social media, and she paid for the housing for my boyfriend. Thank gosh, because my fundraising wasn't exactly like a lot because I wasn't very good at it, and but we did raise a little bit. But people have to they help you. Your caregivers, they literally put their life on the line for you to keep going by putting money up for you, their careers, their time and their effort, everything. And there's no amount of gratitude that I wish. I wish
mm,
there was more that I could give to them.
mm.
You know what I mean? But
Uh,
besides saying thank you, thank you, thank you.
mm. I guess I'm just hearing a lot of the emotion in your responses, and I'm hearing the way the emotion has kind of impacted you, even in your story, um, of the gratitude, um, and it's inspiring, but it's also motivating, because even if we can't give back to those who have given to us in that same way, we can find areas or ways, I think, to encourage those, whether it's like what you're doing today through sharing your story, or, you know, maybe notes. I don't know. I'm coming up with things off the cuff, but just ways to kind of, not so much to give back, but just to say, like, I saw what you did. I
Oh
noticed,
yes.
mm,
And it's the little things that people appreciate
My
too. The little
point. My
gestures.
point exactly.
Yes. And that's like the other day, my boyfriend, I had a rough day. I had a real rough day emotionally, and it happens to us. In the middle of the night, he sent me this. It was just a little TikTok video, right? And he never sends TikToks to me. We just always talk in person, right? But when I opened it up, it was the cutest, most heartfelt little TikTok I've ever seen. And it made me start pouring my eyes out because it let me know that he understood that I was having a bad day and it it's gonna be okay. That he understood that whatever I said or whatever I did wasn't because of him, or it was just me having a bad day and it was gonna be okay. It's those little things,
Mm.
when you open up a good morning text, how are you, or stuff like that. And because I'll never be able to repay the amount of money people spent on me for this, right? But it's just the little gratitudes that you show people that you really appreciate them.
Yeah, and it's
What?
just heartfelt too because maybe he can't understand exactly what you're feeling because he hasn't been in your shoes exactly, but he can understand that you had a rough day. He can understand that just being patient and just being loving is really literally all you need. You
Mm.
don't, and so I think it's awesome that you have a partner that can just understand, like, hey, today is not a good day, but I'm going to be supportive, I'm going to be loving, and we're going to hope that tomorrow is better for her. But like, I mean, some people may think, well, just sending a little video. Well, it depends what that video is about. That really could be something somebody needed to hear to get through something.
Mm.
It really was. And even today, I'm like, thank you for that video yesterday. Like, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that.
Mm. What and I know Heather can I know I'm kind of speaking for Heather when I ask this question because we know about the anti-rejection and how all that plays into things, but what what is post, is that right? Am I saying that right, Heather? What does post transplant look like for you? Or what has it looked like, I guess is what I'm asking.
Um, so I actually have an antibody called AT1R. We found out in July. I've been sick on and off for like the last 3 years, and I'd be in rejection and out of rejection, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So I've been on and off steroids like the entire transplant, and it's hard for me to get help where I live in New York for my rejection, or even getting help in general to get to my transplant hospital. Um, so now I'm actually on a daily steroid to help the rejection that's being caused from the antibody that I have that my body already had. They didn't know it. It didn't come with the heart, thankfully, but that kind of stinks because, like, if I need another transplant, I don't think I'm eligible. So
Mm.
the goal is to keep the one I have in a really good shape, eat really healthy, drink plenty of water, try to stay as mentally stable as possible for the next 30, 40 years, if that's possible.
Yeah, and I think for people that don't understand antibodies, I guess I can go ahead and clear this up. But antibodies is basically what your body has, and to not get too scientific for those that it's because you have to try to break it down and it can be complicated to explain. But it basically, if you have antibodies when you have a transplant and they fight against the organ, it can cause rejection. So that's what Tracy is talking about, is
Mhm.
that antibody. And sometimes there are medications they can give to help treat antibodies, but sometimes that's not always a guarantee. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that is a tough situation, but like you said, just trying to stay strong and hope for the best. And rejection is certainly an emotional ride. And there's acute and chronic. Acute you can reverse, chronic you can't. And just being where you have to go in and out of rejection, that is very emotional. I mean, I don't think people understand the gravity of that because a transplant patient, that's like their worst fear is just rejection itself.
Mm.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. And they've already tried to give me medication for the antibody and it actually like got me really sick and attacked my kidneys.
Hmm.
So there's no more options for it.
Uh, Heather, I think I have one last question, and it has to do the idea of the heart. So Tracy, I'm a pastor, if Heather didn't tell you, and
Yes.
one of the things I see, because I have someone that I know that had a heart transplant not too long ago, and one of the things you often hear folks ask outside of it is, what is that like? What does it feel like? What do you remember? And you went through some of that, but just what does life mean to you? Being a organ recipient, what does that mean to you for being given that second chance of life, that second chance to love? When we think of the heart, we automatically think of love, and it's almost as if you've been given that a second time. What does that mean to you?
It means it means so much to me because there's so many things that I couldn't do growing up as a child. You know, I still can't do a lot of things, but I can finally like actually like run, jog, hike, and I'm not gasping for air anymore. I'm not
I love
turning
it.
blue, I'm not turning purple. Um, I'm able to spread awareness for other people so they're not afraid on both sides, whether you're getting an organ or or giving one,
Hmm.
and I'm able to come home, see my father, take care of him because my father is, he's older, he's very sick. So I can continue to take care of my father, take care of my animals, be with my boyfriend, and just keep doing things that I wasn't able to do before, even though it is a little bit more complicated than we thought it would be. So obviously working isn't an option anymore because I just keep getting sick every time I go to the doctors. Like no matter how much I mask or sanitize, I'm always catching something because we have zero to little immune system. Uh, Once we get sick, we usually stay sick for quite a while, and then that's when we start the whole antibiotic situation for weeks, and then we go from there. So we have to make the time that we've borrowed, we have to make the best of it and make it the most successful, I want to say, that we possibly can. Just enjoy the time that you've been given because every day is precious.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And people take life for granted and just the little things for granted. I say that all the time that just like going and brushing your teeth, walking to the mailbox, cooking dinner, people take so much for granted. And then obviously with people like us that we've had a condition all our lives, it's a little bit different perspective. But people that and obviously, Champ has had cerebral palsy all his life, so he knows what it's like to not be able to have the physical stuff that most people take for granted. And I just think that that's such a powerful message to say enjoy life is so precious because it's the truth. People do take stuff for granted, they take life for granted. And I say people complain way too much that they don't know about having it hard because just, I mean, it's
Come on,
just such,
Heather.
yes, it's just such the truth, okay? I'm not trying to preach about it, but it's like, I say the same thing,
I
P.
think it's interesting that we talk about Heather.
There you
Oh,
go.
I
Mhm.
think my internet's going in. I think
Mhm.
it's interesting that we talk about life being a gift, and you and I kind of coined the phrase "life is a gift." So treat it as such, and just the gift that it is. So, I really thank you for sharing that, Tracy. That's powerful. Thank you.
Tracy, what, in our last few minutes here, if somebody would just came to you that had never had a transplant and maybe they were having to explore that, what would your advice be on just accepting that? And maybe instead of like, because some people obviously say, no, I don't want a transplant, it's too hard, I don't want to do that. What would your advice be to them on possibly accepting that? And also, the back hand of that question is for somebody that would be considering organ donation, if you could give them like one statement on why, what would that be?
Like why to do
Right.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because absolutely. So just go for it. The possibilities when you get a transplant could be endless. You'd be able to do things that you've never been able to do before. Like me, like oh, I mean, I don't have to keep feeling those really crazy heartbeats I used to feel, and the nausea, and the heart monitors, and the Holter monitors, and emergency rooms as often as I used to, right? I know I'm always, I end up like chronic rejection, but like there's, I don't see as many doctors as I used to. I don't got to worry about those crazy heartbeats. I don't got to worry about, um, hearing my heart in my head anymore and in my pillow. I mean, it goes on and on. I could talk all night about it, and just go for it. Shoot for the stars. Don't look back. It's now or never, honestly. We have two choices. I would just freaking go for it.
And people don't like, I guess because they've never experienced, like, obviously, transplant life is not always the perfect story. Maybe there's complications, maybe there's stuff that the doctors could never tell you that could happen that can. That's just life. But when you think about our lives taking a transformation, like you're talking about, I don't have this anymore, I don't have to feel this anymore. I think those people that are scared don't realize how good it can be. Like, even for myself, there's things that I can do now that I could never do before. And I think, like you're saying, go for it. What do you have to lose? Just go for it and see how beautiful organ donation can be. And so, my last question, and I said it was the last question before, I just like this story. Um, have you written your donor family at all?
I have several times. I have not heard back from them, unfortunately. And every time I do, I just get really upset and emotional. Like, well, I write it because I'm like, I'm doing this, and because I have so many questions, and I want to know like a little bit of background history about the heart and stuff. But like, you know, I do it. I just don't do it as often like I used to, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's so understandable because, like, you have to understand sometimes that the donor families is emotional for them, but you just want to know your hero. I mean, you really do. You just want to know something about them, a picture, a name. For me, like I say, what was their favorite food? Like, what was their favorite sports team? I just want to know something about them. But and then I hope that in the future, maybe they will write you back. That would be absolutely amazing. But I just want to say thank you for feeling comfortable coming on here and sharing your story, because
Thank you.
organ
You're
donation
very
is so
welcome.
powerful, and I think that is so important, like you said, to share these stories and share the awareness so that we can encourage other people to donate life. And if you're interested, that's listening to this, you can always sign up to be a donor. And just give life. What do you have to lose when it's to your time? You're giving a legacy that is just priceless. You can help save someone's life and give them opportunities they've never had. And so I pray that your heart has many, 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 many more years of being strong and just keeping you doing all the things that you enjoy and love, and that you can be here to keep sharing your story and sharing that you did hard things and you got through it. And I think there's so much power in that, to tell others that they can do hard things, and if they need a heart transplant, they can do it. They can do it even if there's complications. And I think you're a living testament to just going through that and seeing what a heart transplant looks like. And so, again, I just thank you so much for being willing to share your story, and I hope everyone is encouraged. I know you're on social media, so if anybody wants to follow your story, where can they find you at?
So I'm on Facebook. My name is Tracy. Last name is spelled Thiel. I'm also on TikTok. TikTok under the handle Tracy Transplant. I don't remember if there's an underscore between Tracy and Transplant, but just type it in, that name, on almost all social media platforms, and you'll be able to find me and follow my journey.
Well, thank you again. That was incredible. And I hope you join us next week for the next installment of the Champions Podcast.
Y'all have a great week and God bless. And like I said, be encouraged to be a donor. It's greatly appreciated.
Amen.